Welcome to my presentation at the Future of Education International Conference 2017, which is called the Research Education Nexus. I would like to talk about basic premises and practical applications of a movement which is called the scholarship movement. Actually, there are two movements that are associated with the term scholarship. I don't know if you're familiar with one of them. The first one is called the Scholarship of Academic Development, SOAD, and the second one is called the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, SOTL. Those two concepts I would like to introduce in this presentation and then move on to show you some practical application in our master's degree program. It's a higher educational master program, which is on-the-job master, an executive master for staff and teaching staff at the university. So everybody who's involved in teaching at the university level can apply for this master's degree program, which is the application of the theoretical part I would like to introduce in the next slides. So starting off with the basic premises of the scholarship concept, the general aspects of the concept. What does it mean? What does it stand for? What does the term scholarship refer to? What does it mean to be a scholar? First of all, the term in general refers to some people working in academia as researchers, as teachers, as practitioners, and while working there also starting to reflect upon their academic proficiency by systematically researching into what they do. So that can be research upon one's teaching practices and the learning outcomes one might trigger. It can be research on how one conducts research, how one conducts studies of in a specific disciplinary field, or it can be researching into one's doing as a practitioner. So if you're working in the third space as someone who's developing curriculum and also covering the administrative part of the curriculum as a program director, for example, you can start looking into what you do in a systematic way too. And if you do, and you're in academia, then this action is called scholarship, or this attitude to reflect upon one's professional role in academia, one's role as a scholar. So while the scholarship of academic development follows on from Boyer's and Fraser's differentiations of the scholarship concept, the scholarship of teaching and learning was first introduced by Hutchings and Schoolman. In the quotation you can see on the slide here, I would like to introduce to you what Boyer in 1990 wrote about the scholarship of academic development. So as you can see, this is a very broad way of looking at scholarship, of reflecting upon one's role in academia. MacDonald in 2003 tried to define scholarship in an integrative way as well. You can see it on this slide here. And what we try to do in Hamburg, in the Hamburg Centre for University Teaching and Learning, in which I work, is we try to take the notion referred to in the conceptual variations of the scholarship concept in the latest discourse and take it as a guiding principle and a common rationale for university teaching. As an example, I would like to point out how we applied scholarship in an educational setting to build up a university of peers engaging in educational research practice from their differing disciplinary perspectives. So What you can see here is our master's degree curriculum, which was rolled out just in winter term 2016-17 at the University of Hamburg, Germany. So we just started up with the program in last October, and what I'm telling you about is just from the first cohort, which is running at the moment in this very new master's program of higher education. So what's special about this program is it's being research-based, completely research-based, and not just being some master's degree program of academic professionalization or of skill-based, more hands-on training. That's not what the master's degree program is about. This program is about educational research, higher educational research in the field of university teaching and learning. As you can see, we have a research project which takes 20 credits and runs over 3 semesters, and a master's thesis with 15 credits, which has to be accomplished in the end. So the whole program in total can be done in 2 years, 4 semesters, and it's got a research-based fundament, and surrounding this fundament there are some perspectives. I wouldn't say introduction. There are modules that are giving some trying to establish some disciplinary perspective on how students are learning from a more psychological point of view. This would be module 3, the learning studies. It also tries to reflect upon how researchers do, or what researchers do when conducting their research. So module 4, second order research, is basically about how what the basic premises and the tacit underlying assumption of one's doing research are. Module 5 gives a more sociological point of view, which looks into curriculum design, and which is called University Studies. So this is a different layer, as you can see, giving an introduction and a perspective in political issues and issues of university development. And finally, module 6 with media studies is trying to cover the educational technology part with media pedagogy and looking into latest trends of digitalization and its impact on how we teach and how we learn. Let me just point out that students of this master's degree program are not typical bachelor students. You need at least 240 ECTS credits in order to apply for it. So you need a 4 years bachelor, 8 semesters bachelor that you have accomplished before. You can also apply for it, and that will be the standard case, I think, with a master's degree, with a PhD, or with a higher qualification. And we are addressing only staff that is teaching at the university level. So you need to have teaching experience in order to inscribe for this program. And we follow Barnett, who says that what's required is not that our students become masters of bodies of thought, but they are enabled to begin to experience the space and challenge of open critical inquiry in all its personal and interpersonal aspects. So this is where the scholarship concept comes in. So to put it in a nutshell, the target group of this master's degree program are disciplinarians that are researchers, teachers, educational personnel, third space workers that have an academic identity and that are beginning to reflect upon their academic identity from an educational point of view, from a pedagogical perspective, and who would like to get to know more about their own role in academia, about their own identity, and not only getting to know that, but getting to know it in a research-based way, getting familiar with latest research in the strands that I have been pointing out before when showing the curriculum. So the overall aim of this master's degree program is to professionalize one's academic teaching on a personal level. To do so, the master's program explicitly does not take a training or skill building approach, as I mentioned before. Instead, it aims at enabling students to reflect upon their own teaching and the main teaching paradigms in their disciplines by engaging in educational research activities themselves. And they are doing so in Module 2, which is this big research module taking 3 semesters to be conducted. And in this slide, you can see one way that we try to show students how to conduct educational research, which is one exemplary way of doing educational research by following a design-based agenda. So, following this design-based approach, what makes this program special from an academic professionalization perspective is its orientation towards higher educational development, which is defined not merely, at least at Hamburg, is not merely defined as staff development, but as educational development in terms of Bohm's and Bohm's distinction. So the research-based curriculum includes a project model, as I said, with 20 credits in which a research project is conducted in a design-based way, and during 3 of the 4 semesters scheduled in the course catalog. And at the beginning of this project module, students visit a project conference, which is designed as a forum to give some orientation on possible research approaches to the freshmen, and in which they will present their own projects when finished after 3 semesters. Students are then guided through their individual research processes by scholarly mentors. We call them Wissenschaftscoach in German. And they have the opportunity to get in touch with other students as well, peer coaches working on similar topics or with similar methodological approaches. All of the participants, all of our participants in the master's degree program are disciplinary researchers already who want to acquire a second master's degree. By inscribing to the master's program, they aspire to become scholars of teaching and scholars of learning, scholars of academic development in the sense described before, by engaging in reflective and systematic research activities linked with their own teaching and by making their efforts public to a broader community. During their studies, the participants of the first cohort, which started last October, they themselves are reflecting upon a definition of their role as both a teacher and a researcher. So from the literature they have studied on scholarship and academic development, they derived a definition that you can find in my paper, and which shows that, or which sums up the definition of scholarship of teaching and learning, and we try to move on forward from there. Thanks for listening.